All right, fellas. Thanks again for joining. We got a pretty jam-packed agenda. We're going to start to take some deep dives into some different ways to build wealth individually so that we have at least the opportunity to come together collectively with buckets of money, as I like to call it, if we decide to. But before we jump into some of those deep dives, I want to take the opportunity to celebrate a major milestone of one of our members. And without stealing his thunder, Ira, I will turn it over to you to make that announcement and just say that I'm really excited. I'm proud of you having some inside information here.
No, I thought with the conversation being about wealth, I think one of the big milestones that we all try to strive toward is making that first million. You know, I'm excited to be a part finally after years and years and years of focus and work to be a part of the Millionaires Club. And I was really excited to see the way that this group celebrated and rallied around that milestone, kind of understanding that this is just one step in the process, but it's not a place you get to by luck or chance or happenstance. It has to be about daily decisions. It has to be about daily focus and daily motivation. And what you do with each dollar will determine what you have the ability to do with the next. And so I think, you know, having this conversation with such an esteemed group of gentlemen is really a good place for us to focus, because it doesn't start with the million. It starts with the first dollar and what you do with it to make sure that it's returning the most that's in your best interest in your long-term future.
Yeah, man. Hey, thanks for being willing to share that information. I know you personally, and I know that's not something that you say to brag or to boast. And I really took that just as motivation. Hey, if somebody that I know can do it, if I'm disciplined and if I make the appropriate intentional decisions, I can do it too. I've only ever read about these things. So to know you personally, it's a huge motivation for me, man. So thanks for sharing your experience and your journey.
Yeah, I second that, Talon. When I read the news this morning, it brightened my day to know that I was in a group with focused gentlemen and somebody that had come from humble beginnings and driven every day with that passion and desire to reach that goal and making those tough decisions. So yeah, it inspired me to push on and try to do the exact same thing, knowing that there's knowledge in the group being shared and uplifted. It uplifted me that, you know, when I read it this morning, that he was doing what he needed to do, make the decisions he needed to make, but, you know, wasn't boasting, wasn't bragging. It was just an inspiration to me this morning. It just made my day, really did.
And I'll chime in on that as well. I don't think when we post something, we bragging or boasting about it. The main purpose of it all is like to get us excited, to get us to focus on where we want to be. So by no means did I ever say, oh man, I hate this guy. I was like, man, okay, he's setting the bar for me to go ahead and have something that somebody so close-knit to you made it. You can also go ahead and reach for that same bar as well. So if anything, I want to thank you, man, for setting the bar for me, setting the example, saying that I can do it. That's how I took it.
This is legit. I haven't seen the post, but come on now, Ira. I think, and not just you, Ira, everyone on this group, there's no boasting here. It's all just like all the conversations that goes on. And man, I'm really bad at catching up because, man, you all be kind of going real quick. But anyway, I'm going to go through and read it, hear all the inspiration. Ira, you personally, man, you're not one to boast. So obviously, if you had something to share, it was from a good place. So come on, let's celebrate it and propel you to get to the next. And you pull us on together with you till we get to one or whatever. That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? We push and we pull.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking for the second, the third, the fourth announcement and learning both from Ira's successes and his mistakes along the way. Ira, I encourage you selfishly, right, to share your experiences, perhaps at a different venue in a little more detail, because if you can help any or all of us shorten that curve, I think it'll make this collective of gentlemen that much more successful, that much better men to be able to do that. And again, you motivated me, man. I'm on your coattails. I'm coming.
That's what I like, man. That's the intention 100%, man. We can all get there. There's no reason why it has to be isolated, you know?
Yeah.
And I do think that he did drop the gem. He told us, you know, he's driving an older model car. He didn't go get the $1,000 bill, which he could have easily done. And he's mindful about what he spent his money on. So those are the key gems that he's dropping right there.
That's exactly what I was about to say, Ruben, man. Like, Ira, I appreciate the vulnerability, you know, and the humility that you came forth with, man. Like you said, man, the car got 100,000 miles on it. It didn't have to be that way, but the level of discipline. And if you think law of attraction and the fact that you are a combination of the people you spend the most time with, man, like, all of us should be grateful and thankful, man, at your approach to even, you know, communicating that to us, man, because now all of us have a deeper sense of desire, I feel, man, to keep striving. And I feel like we got the people that can show us the way. So I'm here to learn from all you guys, man. And this is a milestone that, you know, I'm proud of. And I'm like very, you know, detached and far away from it. But I'm like, yo, I'm super proud of that, you know, because my network is doing X, Y, and Z. So like, thanks, man. Keep preaching that. Keep on.
I'm gonna chime in on that, Alex. We learning from you too, man. Whatever gem you gotta go ahead and bring it in. And it's a learning environment. You know, we as Black men, we're not vulnerable to our feelings. But you know, the way Tone came out and shared his feelings, the way JF came in and shared his feelings, I'm like, man, okay. I know where I can go if I have some deep sentimental I want to share. So it's not all about, you know, the wealth. It's also a therapy session for all of us. We have somebody to, you know, say, hey, this happens to me. What do you feel about it? How can I go about it? So it's more than that. And, you know, this collective is going to take us great places, to great heights.
I agree with that, man. And I can't wait to contribute, man. I'm definitely not here to consume, man. I'm here to, you know, be a gardener as well. I just know personally, like in the realm of wealth consciousness and finance, I'm a beginner, and so I'm definitely here to learn from the likes of you guys who have already set a strong foundation. My playground and my world is in people, man. Like I can talk your head off all day about everything about the human anatomy, the body, the power of the mind, power of the brain, energy, all that stuff. But we ain't get there yet, so I'm gonna contribute though. I promise you.
Hey, Alex, what I'll chime in on is I think there are a couple of things to be said. One, no way I get this without my right hand, my partner, my wife, my support system, my true champion. And so I'll say, as much as I was declaring that financial milestone, it definitely would not be done without, you know, the family structure and the love that she gives me on a regular basis. But I do think there's a dichotomy in wealth that we really need to talk about as a Black community. There is the foundation of wealth, which is probably the mental and the spiritual side that gets very little recognition and value, but I think is the pillar of how you reach the financial side. Because I don't know long-term if you can sustain financial success if it's built on a very poor soul or a very poor mentality or a very poor work ethic. It just crumbles. And so to your point about knowing the people and knowing the heart and knowing the mind, you might have that side of the equation down packed. And I think that is probably what's most important. It probably would have accelerated my milestone if I would have had that earlier on in my life. So I think there is something to be said about the importance of building both mental and financial wealth, trying to ensure that you're not neglecting either or, but you're kind of running them both in parallel where possible.
I agree with everything you just said, Ira. And I appreciate you sharing that, man. For real.
Some top notch fellas, let me call up the collective, yeah.